No. um, Assuming that the family constitution is created in the right way, and what I mean by that is a participatory process. You can't impose a family constitution upon the broader family. There has to be co-ownership of it. And then once you have a family constitution, um, it's important to differentiate what what can change, what cannot change, and how much flexibility do we want. And ultimately, the family constitution, you probably don't want a system where everyone at every meeting of the family, at every holiday, is cracking open and citing subsection 7 of the family constitution to rule how you interact with one another. It needs to be internalized within the family. It needs to be something that really is a living document, but you have to recognize that it needs to change with the family, certainly generation to generation. And the family constitution that you put together, and I think, Kate, your example of revisiting it after 3 or 4 years, that's not a bad thing. Actually, that's a great result, because what it means is, it means the family is continuing to evaluate how they interact with each other. They're continuing to evaluate what will make them into a cohesive, united family, and they're making changes. They're preserving those changes in a document. The last thing you want is, you want a document that is rigid and that rolls from beyond the grave, because that will spell trouble for the family, and ultimately that trouble will cascade into the business. So I would say it's definitely not enough. It should be a living document.
And to add, what kept us going is the third party interaction, because no matter what, the founder will always have personality and attitude of, I'm making the decisions no matter what. And the children want to be heard, and because of the dynamics of the siblings are multidisciplinary in different times, it's very difficult to get a point across or even to move forward. So we found, for our experience anyway, that third party worked for us. So that was through Family Premier, and even to create schedules on, can we set the date December 15? December 15 needed to be changed 17 times before getting to another date, because everyone had different schedules. So life happens, life is messy. It's just, of course, family counts more than so here in Cebu, because, family dynamics are very deep. It's just the pandemic happened. So everyone woke up, and everyone individually in my family started to pursue what they really wanted to do in their life. And it became an issue, because what if we want to work somewhere else? So this is why the constitution needs to get revisited, and why the third party gave those parameters on, okay, if you want to do that, then this is what's going to happen. So it gave clarity, so that people understand, if they make decisions, and the risk that they're making, there's a trade-off. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah.
Just to add, I know we need to end because lunch is already ready. Yesterday, a family here engaged me, confirmed the engagement. But before he did confirm the engagement, he asked me, John, I understood the whole process. And these are my family members. My youngest is still 16 years old. And we know that family constitution is a living document. But what he was worried at is that this family constitution may not work or may not be executed properly 4 years down the road, especially when his youngest child will complete college. And so he asked me, will you still be there to guide us through, to make sure that this family constitution becomes a living instrument, a living legacy, not only for the couple, but also for their children? I'm sharing you this because I'm trying to support the idea that family constitution is not the all. It is one of those many things that we need to do. It is a roadmap, it is a guide to provide cohesion, to provide recovery, because we're always in the stage of recovery from relationships that may have been misunderstood because of some specific triggers. And so we need to recover our relationship. We need to deposit, positive vibes to our brothers, to our father, to our sisters, because maybe yesterday we have withdrawn too much than what we have deposited for the last, 2 months or to the last year. So there's always a recovery, and that's okay. And that's where cohesion is very important, so that recovery is going to be very seamless for all of us. And there is growth. And in the family side, if you stop growing your relationship, you're going to be in trouble. So growing our relationship, growing our mindset, growing our ways of how we lead others and how we take opinions, how we take criticism is a must. And so family constitution puts that all together, but it's not going to be the one and all that will fit to everyone. It has to be customized based on the aspirations, not only from the founders, but also the successors. And foremost, the core ideologies will have to be embedded in the family constitution.
Hi, so to reverberate from everyone, it's not enough. The family constitution, for example, training, enforcement of culture, culture building, the idea of working somewhere else, and growth. People change over time. As you said, it has to be a living, changeable document that we all can live with. And that's why it's always, anything on contract is always limited in scope. It's like a picture, right? It's only good for as long as it's valid. But it does give guidelines, and it does help the family make the cultural leap, like to form the culture or to understand what's good and what we're different. So it has some uses in my case, in our family, and it's served us well. But I think the most important there is you use the Constitution and you make it a living document by talking about it all the time, by enforcing the rules, teaching the kids early from risk to risk management, platforms such as these, like training always. Because once you train the next generation, as in borrow from your grandchildren, third generation kids, the second generation kids are actually very hopeful. They're taught well, they're educated abroad, and they're willing to help. It's just the family constitution should allow that second generation individual to spread his wings or her wings, so she can serve the family if she would like or he would like, and contribute, but in a way that is fair to everyone else in the constitution and transparency.